Do we talk too much about the Holocaust? Do we exaggerate? Is this propaganda? Join me in this episode and let's take a look at what's happening right now and why we should not be silent. Not long ago, Eva Schloss passed away. To most people, the name will mean absolutely nothing. And yet, her passing is extremely significant. At age 96, she was one of the most prominent voices who survived the Auschwitz Birkenau death camp. By marriage, she became Anne Frank's stepsister. After the war, she settled in London, got married, and kept quiet about her ordeal in the camps for about 4 decades. Eventually, she decided to speak up and spent the rest of her life as an advocate against hatred and antisemitism. It is almost impossible to assess how many Holocaust survivors are still alive today, but a baby born in 1939 would be 87 years old in 2026. So anyone who survived the Holocaust and is still alive today is 90 years old and older, making the pool of first-hand witnesses extremely small and getting smaller and smaller each and every day. There are possibly 196,000 survivors globally, but due to their advanced age, 90% of them will be gone within the next decade. Then what? Who will carry the flame of Holocaust memory and education in our world plagued by the high wind of revisionism and Holocaust denial? The tiny flame of Holocaust memory cannot and should not be extinguished, ever. Yet, it faces multiple gusts of wind from many sources. Some will argue that we speak too much of it, but the same people will also wonder why there is so much Holocaust distortion. Having lost my maternal grandfather in Auschwitz in 1942, it has become my duty to make sure that my family and people within my immediate sphere of influence know the story with as many details, but without exaggeration. My grandfather Maurice Wenzweig was silenced in the gas chambers of Auschwitz, but his memory will live on. Every victim of the Nazis was a grandfather, a father, a son, a brother. We all have a part to play in making sure the world never forgets. Every year, on January 27th, the world commemorates International Holocaust Memorial Day. That is different from the one in Israel in the spring. It was initiated by the United Nations in 2005, about 20 years ago. The date coincides with the 1945 liberation of Auschwitz-Birkenau by the Allies. And again, it's different from the spring date reserved for Yom HaShoah, which is Holocaust Memorial Day in Israel. In our day and age, our worst enemies, like online anti-Semite Nick Fuentes, compare the Jews to cookies going into ovens. Ugh. Others say that the Shoah, the catastrophe, never happened or was just exaggerated as propaganda for the Jews to start the state of Israel. Even within our friends and within the evangelical church, there are people who think that 6 million was too high a number. Hey, friend, I lost my grandfather murdered in Auschwitz. If you ask me, 1 was too high a number. It is on all of us to keep the flame going, and there are different ways to do so. Listen and watch to stories. If you can sit through a live testimony of one of the few survivors, do it. There is nothing like a first-hand account of any event. Many of these stories have been recorded. The next best thing is to watch a story online. Once people arrived at a camp, they were stripped of everything they owned, shaved, and given a camp uniform. Then they were tattooed a number on their arm, and that became who they were. Just a number. By listening to a person retell their story, we don't only preserve their memory, but we also preserve their dignity. There's so many to choose from. And I want to encourage you to watch any of those listed on your screen, like Ellen Zelkovich, writer from Czechoslovakia, or Jean Weinstock Lazinger from Poland, or even Jean Klein from Germany, or Zofia Galler from Poland, or Eva Moses Kor from Romania. There's also one about three survivors remembering Auschwitz, and all will be listed under the video. You can also read about the Holocaust. The next best thing is a book to learn about what people went through in the camps. Some of these stories can be more graphic than others, so readers' discretion is advised. These books can also be read and discussed as a group or Bible study over several weeks throughout the year. That is not a bad idea. Some of the books I would recommend are Night by Elie Wiesel, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, The Sunflower by Simon Wiesenthal, The War Against the Jews by Lucy Dawidowitz, and The Destruction of European Jews by Raoul Hilberg. It's just a few of the many books you could read. You can also visit a Holocaust memorial or museum. There are many Holocaust memorials and museums spread out over the world and in America. Check where you live to see if there is one near you. Most of them also have an extensive website that you can visit, navigate, and learn from all year long as they constantly curate different exhibits. That's a good way to stay on top of things. It is also from these reputable sites that you can do research and even find out about a specific victim or survivor. So far, Yad Vashem has compiled the names of 4.8 million Holocaust victims out of the 6 million, and they keep working at it. So you can visit Yad Vashem, the World Holocaust, the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum, the Simon Wiesenthal Center. They'll all be listed under your the video. If you still think that the responsibility rests on the shoulders of others, but not yours, consider a few stats. Sobering. Think about it. In 2020, the Pew Research Center did a survey, and I believe it was called What Americans Know About the Holocaust. They conducted a thorough survey on the Holocaust and related topics. The results definitely were sobering, and they remain the very reason why we should not be silent. At the end, not surprisingly, more Holocaust knowledge was tied to warmer feeling about the Jews. 18% of Americans do not know when the Holocaust took place. 29% of Americans could not say how many Jews died during the Holocaust. 38% of respondents did not know that Holocaust had to do with the killing of Jews. 26% of the respondents did not know what a ghetto was. It's amazing to me. Additionally, from the Conference on Jewish Material Claims Against Germany, which is a different organization, more concerning stats emerged in 2025. 48% of Americans could not name a single concentration camp. 20% of French adults said that they had never heard of the Holocaust before the survey. 20%. 53% of Romanian adults believe that the Holocaust death toll was grossly exaggerated. Wow, that's over half. We're only 80 years from the Holocaust. Between its memory being eroded by virtue of the passing of the survivors and its accurate account being revised by those who hate the Jews, we run the risk of two catastrophes soon colliding in front of us. First, the complete eradication of one of the most defining historical events in human history. Second, a blindness about the next Holocaust on the horizon. If we search deep in the recesses of the human heart, all of us are capable of the worst crimes against our fellow men because we have free choice. By God's grace, some of us will make a difference and will speak out, stand up, and remember the past. The flame cannot be extinguished. So, will you help me protect it for the sake of Israel and for the love of God? Shalom. Be blessed.